Hello and thank you to All Wheels Up for inviting me back to speak with you once again. And thank you also for your continued work to make air travel safer and more accessible for people with disabilities. Returning to this occasion once again makes this a good chance to mark our progress and hold ourselves accountable for what has been accomplished since we last spoke. And when it comes to aviation accessibility, I'm proud to say that we have made significant progress since the last time that I addressed you. This summer, during Disability Pride Month, I joined Vice President Harris at the White House to share that we at DOT were close to finalizing a rule that will increase the size and accessibility of airplane bathrooms. And just a couple of weeks later, on the 33rd anniversary of the Americans with Disabilities Act, we did just that. You don't need me to tell you that every day wheelchair users around the country are forced to make the brutal choice between dehydrating themselves before boarding a plane or avoiding air travel altogether. That's why our new rule will require airlines to make airplane lavatories large enough to fit a wheelchair user and an attendant, with enough room to move around inside, finally affording travelers in wheelchairs the same basic dignity that other members of the traveling public can take for granted. Of course, the experience of flying isn't just about what it's like on board a plane. That's why, thanks to President Biden's leadership, we have been able to invest billions of dollars in modernizing airport terminals, adding wheelchair ramps, accessible restrooms, and more. 85% of the projects that we have supported through our Airport Infrastructure Grant Program, for instance, have included accessibility improvements. And if you're taking public transit on the way to the airport, you might benefit from the $700 million that we have awarded through our All Stations Accessibility Program, or ASAP, which is retrofitting old rail and subway stations, adding elevators, ramps, and more. And we're continuing to use our rulemaking and regulatory power to improve air travel for all. As I mentioned last year, we're embarking on the research we need to make it possible for air travelers one day to stay in their own wheelchairs when they fly. It's something that is already possible on other major forms of transportation, and it's time to make it a reality for aviation. We know that it's going to take time, truthfully, more time than we would like, but we are clear about our goal and we are moving closer toward it every day, thanks in large part to support from advocates like those joining today. We're also working on rules that would require better training for airline staff who assist passengers with disabilities or handle battery-powered wheelchairs and scooters. And because civil rights are only meaningful when they are enforced, the President and I have called on Congress to pass legislation that will ensure passengers with disabilities can pursue legal action against airlines that violate their rights. We've already seen how powerful your advocacy can be. And I encourage you to continue making your views known so that everyone understands how important that provision is. We still have a lot of work to do, but I want to emphasize that we wouldn't have gotten this far without your partnership and leadership. So much of our work is deeply informed by countless conversations with disability advocates like those at this event. And going forward, your expertise and dedication will continue to shape American transportation policy. So thank you once more for inviting me back and for all of the good work that you've done and for all that is still to come. I hope you enjoy the rest of this event.